Hello, today we'll be talking about Unit 2.7, which is Market Disequilibrium and Changes in the Equilibrium. First, we need to talk about shortages and surpluses. A surplus is when the quantity demanded is less than quantity produced, so that causes people to not buy as many as they are being produced, because at this price, suppliers want to be producing more, but at this price, there are less people willing to pay for a product at this price. A shortage is the opposite of this. A shortage is when there's too little producers and too many consumers, because at this price, a lot of people want it cheap, so they'll want to buy a lot of it. But then at this price, since it's so cheap, the suppliers aren't willing to make so many of it because they aren't making much money off of something so cheap. If you remember from last video, we have the consumer and producer surplus, and that is divided at the equilibrium. But today we'll be talking about disequilibrium, and that's when floors and ceilings are involved usually. A ceiling is something that causes producer surplus to decrease, consumer surplus to increase, and also causes deadweight loss. What this looks like on a graph is like this. The gray area here is deadweight loss. Consumer surplus has been turned into this triangle and square combined, and the producer surplus has been drastically lowered. This is a binding ceiling. A binding ceiling goes below equilibrium, and this is something that tests will usually try to test you on. If they say a ceiling is above equilibrium, it'll have no effect since they'll still be producing at equilibrium, and the ceiling won't even matter because nobody will be producing up here. However, ceilings and floors cause deadweight loss, and what deadweight loss is unused opportunities in the market, and all you need to know that it's bad, and having a lot of deadweight loss is not good for the market and is not good for both the consumers and producers, and that's why floors and ceilings tend to be harmful when there's no good reason to place them. Now on to floors. This is what a floor looks like. You might be thinking, why is the floor above the ceiling? As I said earlier, a binding floor needs to be above equilibrium. If they show you a floor that's below equilibrium, it'll have no effect, just like a ceiling above equilibrium. As you can see, it has the opposite effect. Producer surplus increases because the price is now here and people have to buy it here and produce at this price. So consumer surplus has gone down because consumers aren't getting as much bang for their buck as they were before. Deadweight loss will also be created if there's a binding floor. To find the deadweight loss triangle when you're graphing a floor, you have to take the line from this horizontal line and then match it with the demand over here, and then draw a line downwards until you reach the supply, and then you color in this area here, and then you'll get this triangle which shows you deadweight loss. Just like how to calculate producer and consumer surplus, you just use simple geometry and figure out the area of this triangle and the area of this triangle. If they're the same, then you can just find the area of one triangle and multiply by 2. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.